Hello and welcome everyone to the third episode of my channel, the Educational Podcast. In the last episode, I talked about some deadly influenza pandemics that the world had to suffer from. And today, I present to you 10 worst pandemics ever. But before diving into details, if you like my video, please do not forget to like and subscribe to my channel. I will appreciate any kind of feedback and comment you guys have for me. Alright, let's begin. Here we have a number 1, the Plague of Justinian. Some of the deadliest pandemics recorded in history were caused by single bacteria referred to as Yersinia pestis, which is most known as plague. It is named after Byzantine Emperor Justinian. It is believed to have been started from China and India, which later transported to Constantinople, the capital of Byzantine Empire, in 541 AD. It got spread to Europe, Asia, North Africa, and Arabia in a very short amount of time, ending lives of over 50 million people. That is more than 10% of the world's population at that time. The outbreak managed to spread throughout the globe for another 225 years, finally disappearing in 750 AD. It is the bravery of those people who managed to survive the deadliest plague without any minimal understanding of how to fight against it. Number 2. The Black Death. After almost 800 years of plague disappearance, it re-emerged, killing over 200 million lives in a 7-year span starting 1346 AD. The plague had struck China, India, Syria, and Egypt in the early 1340s. This was the time when the world quarantine came into practice. Sailors were held on their ships for 30 days to isolate them from outer world, preventing the spread of the plague. And it worked. Around 20 million deaths were reported from Europe alone, which contributed 1/3 of the continent's population. The plague was mostly contributed by rats. The blood of plague-infected rat contained 1,000 times more bacteria than the blood of plague-infected human. The only countries that avoided the plague were Iceland and Finland because of their tiny population. It is believed that the plague got vanished after 7 years in 1353 AD. Number 3. The Great Plague of London. After the Black Death terrorized the world in 1348, another worst outbreak of plague happened in England, with 40 outbreaks in 300 years, starting from 1348 and ending in 1665. The Great Plague of London killed over 100,000 people, including 15% of the population of London. To stop the transmission of the plague, thousands of animals were massacred. The Great Plague of London resulted burying the dead in mass graves. The plague resulted in postponing any kind of gathering and shutting down all kind of trading in London. The disappearance of the plague, however, was said to be influenced by the Great Fire of London of September 1666. Number 4. The Russian Flu Pandemic. In the year 1889, first modern flu pandemic, also known as the Russian flu, was identified. The rapid growth of population, mostly in the new formed urban areas, led to the widespread transmission in various countries like northwestern Canada, Greenland, and some portion of Central Asia, causing over 1 million people to die. Despite of not having too many planes to fly around, the virus managed to spread globally within a short period of time. Most of the top European leaders fell ill because of the virus. It entered the United States, starting from New York and Boston, killing around 13,000 people. However, today, in the history of flu, the Russian flu is overshadowed by the deadliest Spanish flu of 1918. Number 5. The Spanish Flu Pandemic. In the years between 1918 to 1920, Spanish flu terrorized people across the world, with number of infections rising to 500 million, ending the lives of about 20 to 50 million people. The Spanish flu was first identified in Europe, the United States, and some portion of Asia before it got spread to other parts of the world. With a mortality rate of 10 to 20%, it killed over 25 million people in the first week alone. No effective vaccines and drugs were discovered to kill this deadly virus. The mortality rate was high in people younger than 5 years, in between 20 and 40, and over 65 years. The only option people had was quarantining and limit number of public gatherings along with good personal hygiene. People were ordered to wear masks and all the schools and theaters were closed to prevent the spread of the Spanish flu. Number 6. The Asian Flu Pandemic. In 1958, after around 37 years of eradication of the Spanish flu pandemic, another terrifying pandemic was emerged, which was known as the Asian flu. The influenza virus was composed of 3 different genes originated from an avian virus that transmits bird flu. Starting from Singapore in February 1957, it spread to Hong Kong in April, the United States in the summer, ending lives of over 2 million people. During the month of January 1958, the second wave started spreading throughout. It is believed that when Asian flu entered the United States, they had the vaccines ready, but it managed to kill more than 116,000 Americans. In the worst case scenario, if the vaccines weren't discovered on time, the mortality rate would have been extremely high. Finally, in 1968, the flu disappeared from the human population and is believed to have gone extinct in the wild. Number 7. AIDS Pandemic. AIDS is one of the deadliest pandemics with a sweeping death toll of around 35 million people. The reason why AIDS is considered one of the deadliest pandemics is that people are still suffering from this pandemic. AIDS is caused by the HIV virus and is believed to have been transmitted from chimpanzees. It was first transmitted to humans in West Africa in 1920s. More than 10% of the world population lives in sub-Saharan Africa, and it is home for over 65% of the world population living with HIV. Asia reported 8.3 million infections, among which India alone comprises of 5.3 million people. About 30% of the world population living with HIV is in South and Central America as well as in Caribbean. Today, there are more than 33 million people around the globe living with HIV, in which 24 million population is from Africa alone. Starting from 1988, the Earth celebrates World AIDS Day every year on 1st December. Number 8. The Swine Flu Pandemic. In 2009, a strain of swine flu infected many people in Mexico and the United States. Then the virus got spread around the globe, infecting 1.4 billion people and killing around 500,000 population globally. The virus was referred as swine flu because of the similarity of its gene segment with influenza virus that caused illness in pigs in North America. The WHO declared the swine flu outbreak a pandemic in June 2009. In the first 6 months alone, over 20 million people in the United States fell ill from swine flu. More than 80% infections were in people who are younger than 65 years of age. What unusual, right? With almost a year of dedicated research and hope, the vaccine for swine flu was originated, which was the decisive factor for the declaration of an end to the swine flu. Number 9. Ebola Pandemic. In December 2013, an 18-month-old boy from a small village in Guinea, West Africa, got infected by an unidentified illness. Again, 5 more cases were observed in January of 2014, after which an official medical alert was issued by the Ministry of Health in Guinea. On March 2014, with 49 confirmed cases and 29 deaths, WHO declared an outbreak of Ebola virus. By July, it got spread to Guinea's bordering countries, Liberia and Sierra Leone. Then it was seen in Italy, Mali, Nigeria, Spain, UK and US as well, with 28,000 confirmed cases leading to around 11,000 deaths. Ebola pandemic is considered one of the least severe pandemics among those that the world has suffered from. Liberia was declared Ebola-free in May 2015. Sierra Leone was declared Ebola-free in March 2016. And Guinea was finally declared Ebola-free in June 2016. Number 10. Coronavirus Pandemic. Coronavirus pandemic, also referred as COVID-19, is caused by SARS-CoV-2. The outbreak was first identified in China in December 2019. WHO declared the outbreak as a pandemic on March 11, 2019. It is believed to have been transmitted from Wuhan meat market in China. With over 5.9 million confirmed cases and over 360,000 deaths worldwide, this contagious outbreak has led to shutting down official and non-official bodies, entertainment, and the worst of all, education. It has affected 98.6% of the world's student population. In a broad view, the pandemic has caused global social and economic disruption. Recently, data scientists predicted a 100% end to the first wave to the pandemic worldwide by December. But the prediction is different in different countries. Singapore has predicted to be free of virus by June. UK has predicted to be free by August. And finally, US has predicted to be free by September. But what will happen next is the only question that is in our mind right now. As we all know, we are going through similar situation which has devastated so many lives and threatened the world with its deadly nature. Still, some countries have fought with the pandemic and are reopening all the businesses with the hope that the virus will be properly monitored and the much suspected second wave will not be as fatal and stagnating. This is all for today, everyone. Thanks for watching. If you like my video and want to see more of it, do not forget to like and subscribe to my channel. In my next episode, I'll bring you something interesting related to the psychopaths. Alright, until next time.